They teach you about Julius Caesar and the Roman Empire's power, but they won't tell you about the Black Queen who made Rome beg for peace. Meet Queen Amanirenas, the warrior queen of Kush. When the Romans tried to invade her kingdom in Nubia, she didn't just fight back, she crushed them. Rome thought Kush would be an easy conquest, but Amanirenas led her soldiers straight into battle, destroying Roman settlements, taking down the Roman government, and proving that Kush was not to be messed with. She even lost an eye in battle. But that didn't stop her. She kept fighting, so fiercely that the mighty Roman Empire was forced to sign a peace treaty and back off. Yes, you heard that right. Rome had to back down. They don't teach this in school, because it shatters the myth that Africa was weak. Africa was powerful, and still is. Like this video, comment Black History, and subscribe as I uncover more hidden truths they don't want you to know. Kush, the ancient kingdom south of Egypt, in what we now call Sudan, was no ordinary land. This was a civilization that rivaled Egypt in majesty, a land of pyramids, scholars, warriors, and gold. Kush had its own kings and queens, not just rulers, but kandakes, queen mothers who ruled as sovereigns, generals, and gods among their people. Amanirenas was one such kandake. She inherited a kingdom still licking its wounds from centuries of Egyptian rule. But under her, Kush was proud, independent, and ready to defend itself at all costs. It was the year 24 BCE. Rome had already conquered Egypt. Augustus Caesar sat on the throne of the empire, believing no one could challenge Rome's might. He looked south and saw Kush, and like every greedy empire before him, he saw land, wealth, and power. He assumed Kush would be easy prey. He was wrong. Rome sent its armies. They moved south, occupying parts of northern Kush. They took towns, looted temples, and set up Roman statues in places where Nubian gods once stood. But Queen Amanirenas was not one to bow. She didn't wait for diplomacy. She didn't send envoys. She marched to war. With her son by her side and a massive army of Kushite warriors behind her, Amanirenas led one of the most audacious campaigns in African history. Her soldiers were fierce, skilled archers known for their deadly accuracy. In fact, the Romans feared the Kushite archers so much, they nicknamed them the bowmen of the south, and their arrows, tipped with poison. One shot could mean death. She stormed Roman settlements. Cities like Siene, modern-day Aswan, were taken. Roman garrisons were wiped out. Statues of Caesar Augustus were seized and beheaded, their heads buried beneath the steps of Kushite temples as an act of defiance, so that every time a Kushite entered the temple, they walked over the head of Caesar. In battle, Amanirenas was unstoppable, but war has a cost. She lost her eye in combat, permanently wounded but unbroken. Historical accounts describe her as fierce, one-eyed, and undaunted. She became known as the Blind Queen in Roman texts, a title meant to diminish her, but it only enhanced her legend. Because even half-blind, she saw more than most rulers ever could. She saw freedom, and she saw her people's dignity, not for sale, not up for negotiation. Rome is forced to the table. For 3 long years, Amanirenas waged war against the Roman Empire, not as an underdog, not begging for mercy, but on equal footing. She pushed Rome so hard that Augustus himself was forced to rethink his strategies. Rome, the greatest military force of its time, was drained. The hot desert climate, Kushite guerrilla warfare, and relentless counterattacks turned a confident invasion into a nightmare. And then, it happened. Rome asked for peace. They sent envoys to negotiate. A peace treaty was signed, and here's what makes it even more legendary. Kush paid no tribute to Rome. Their occupied lands were returned to Kush. Rome agreed to respect Kush's sovereignty, No gold, no slaves, no submission. Amanirenas walked away from that treaty without bowing once. Something few nations ever did with Rome. Why they don't teach this. This story should be in every history book, but it's not. Why? Because it rewrites the script. It shows that Africa was never weak. It shows a black queen, a woman, who didn't just survive in a world dominated by empires, she outsmarted one. She beat one. Queen Amanirenas is not just a footnote in Roman history, she is a monument in African legacy, a living testament that Africa had civilizations, warriors, diplomats, and visionaries long before colonizers rewrote the narrative.